Halo is an extremely hot topic right now in the leaking world, in terms of having loads of different things flying around, some true, some are complete and utter rubbish, and no one really knows the status of what's going on right now within Halo Infinite, Halo in general, the development, 343, Microsoft and things like that, and it's kind of a confusing time for Halo fans as well. The other day I uploaded a video detailing the development of Halo Infinite from 2016 all the way up until current period of time, and explaining as to why Halo Infinite potentially may not be the game for the next 10 years, and that 343 Industries may very well be creating and developing a brand new Halo game behind the scenes to release around 2025. But that isn't just all. There is a lot of additional things going on behind the scenes, and one of them is potentially moving Halo, not Infinite of course, but future Halo games and projects from the Slipspace engine to the Unreal 5 engine. Look, my initial thoughts were probably the same as a lot of you guys as well. Why are they doing this? What's the need of doing this? And why use Unreal when a company like Microsoft and 343 should surely be able to develop their own engine? In this video, I wanted to detail all the credible sources and outlets that have actually discussed and reported on this exact thing. And it seems to be getting more weight to it. There's very credible outlets and tier 1 sources that are saying that this is actually a thing. Before we do get into the video though everyone, let me know your thoughts down below and exactly what you think of this. For me, Halo cannot be in a worse situation than what it is right now, so moving it to this engine which is more universal than the Slipspace engine, and we'll probably have more developers out there that know how to use this engine than the Slipspace, it makes more sense from that front. But what does this mean for the look, the feel, and just generally how Halo is going forward? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I'm very interested to know. Also, Call of Duty comes out in literally 16 days from this video coming out, so make sure you guys are subscribed. There'll be plenty of campaign content on here as well, story and lore and things. I'm excited to dive into something a bit different and yeah, test the waters out there. But without further ado though guys, let's dive straight in. So what I do want to do in this video to begin with is go over some of the tweets and from some of the credible sources and outlets that essentially are saying this exact thing and reporting on this news. The first one to start with is no other than Jez Corden. Jez Corden is an editor at Windows Central, and he basically covers as his job role Xbox, Windows and Microsoft. So anything to do with those different services, Jez Corden is the man to look at and to keep an eye on essentially. And not to mention, he's verified on Twitter, so it isn't just a random account that someone's created and it's just spouting nonsense. This does have some validity to it. So I want to start off with these tweets and I want to go through them quickly. So the first one states, and quote, "Deleted my tweets about Halo stuff because everyone is piling on the reporter, which ain't fair. I'll hopefully have some more details about what's going on with Tatanka plus Halo Infinite for Xbox 2 podcasts this week. If Tatanka truly has changed engine to Unreal, it would be utterly insane given how long it's been in development. Would move far beyond the original scope, which was to integrate your progression from Halo Infinite. Don't see how they could do that on a separate engine. Maybe they can, I don't know. The more I look into this, the more I think Sean Dubs could be right. Now, what did Sean Dubs say? Well, essentially Sean made a video the other day detailing this exact thing, that Halo is moving to the Unreal Engine. Nobody believed him at the time, and everyone said that this was just crap and that essentially that it was a trust me bro source, but Jez Corden has essentially come out and done a bit of research himself, and from what he's saying, it sounds pretty good. So Sean replies to this tweet and says, and quote, "I'm working with Jez right now to try and help further verify info from my sources so we can get to the bottom of this. I stand by what I stated was not speculation. I don't know what to do about people not actually watching my vids where I clearly label everything that was speculation." However, on the back of Sean's tweet, there was another quote retweet from someone called ACG. Now, Jeremy Penter is a very credible source and does have some very good information around upcoming releases, remasters that are in the works, and just things that no one's heard of, and breaks the news. And he goes and says this: "I can only confirm that many sources are saying this and are very clear that it's already been decided, and Halo is for sure switching to the Unreal Engine. I feel like it's time for other switches behind the scenes, including people leaving and their past problems. Unreal is a great choice. Now, we know this does have some validity to it, because earlier today as well, Forbes put out an article by Paul Tassi around this exact same thing. So if this didn't have any validity to it, and it was just trust me bro rumors, Forbes would not have created an article for this. So this must have some validity to it in some way or other. And Halo moving to the Unreal Engine, look, for me it doesn't make sense in our current situation, but it could make sense if things are done in a certain way. And in the next part of this video, I want to detail those ways to you guys. So, what's the good points about using the Unreal 5 engine and switching from Slipspace to this engine? It's really simple, to be honest. In my previous video, which I'll link in the description down below, just below the like button for you guys to go and check out if you really want to, it goes into detail around the development of this engine. The Slipspace engine was developed in around 2016, going up to around 2017, 2018, and to be honest, it's still being tweaked as of now for Halo Infinite. This engine was meant to be the next big thing for Halo. It was meant to be able to support this live service, add content, pull new content, whatever it might have been for the next 10 years. However, with the massive issues within Microsoft with its contractor policy and people leaving and joining and leaving and joining and having this massive turnover of staff in Microsoft in 343, it meant that this engine was developed by people that had then left. Then new people had came in, they'd tweaked it, they'd done what they needed to do, then they'd left. And it was a vicious cycle of people just coming in, figuring out the engine, tweaking it, or trying to upgrade it, or whatever it might have been, progress the creation of this engine, and then they would leave like 18 months later, and then leave it to new people to come in, learn it, and then do what they need to do. And it was a massive vicious cycle, and the turnover, to be honest, just wasn't healthy for the development of this engine, or the development of this game. And with this being a brand new engine, it means that people are going to have to come in and essentially learn how to use it from scratch. Now, the base level of coding will most likely be the same in a way, but it would still work very differently to the way that the Unreal Engine would. Look, the Unreal Engine itself is very accessible for literally anyone. I can download it right now on my PC and start having a play around with it. It's so simple to download, install, and just start creating whatever you want to. It's such a universal engine, and I think people need to really understand how big this is for Halo to move over to this engine. I think Microsoft are kind of understanding now and learning from the mistakes of having an engine which is extremely secluded to one game, and especially with the turnover of staff which happens in gaming and within Microsoft, having an engine which is extremely based and secluded to one game in particular just isn't going to work for how the culture of that organization is run. And to be honest, that's fair enough. And maybe they sat down with each other after they'd had the change of leadership and said that, okay, with the current changes in the way that we work, having this engine is not healthy for this game. Maybe we need to move on to one which is a lot more universal, where people that have never worked on Halo or ever works for 343 can come in and understand how to use this engine, and will eliminate that 6-month period of training and things like that. And what better engine to do that on than the Unreal Engine, and especially the Unreal 5 engine. This is a really exciting time for Halo if this is the case. Look, I don't know how the game will look, I don't know how the game will feel, and I don't know how the game will differ to what it is right now. Will it feel better? Will it feel worse on the Unreal Engine? We just don't know at this point. But what I can tell you is that I can almost guarantee that the support for Halo on Unreal 5 will be astronomically better than what it is right now on the Slipspace engine. This engine will be way better supported because it hosts so many other games. This isn't just an engine used for one game in particular. The Unreal Engine is used across the gaming industry so frequently. It's a really popular choice because it is a really good engine. Optimization, graphically, it can look absolutely incredible as well, and the possibility of a development and creation on this engine are almost endless. Whereas on the Slipspace engine, I can't say that the same thing about it. You are extremely limited to what you can do on the Slipspace engine. Cross-core customization is apparently there to stay because of an engine limitation. But with Unreal 5, you can program and code anything to do anything. There's no limitations to what you can achieve with this engine. So I am extremely excited if this is the case for Halo to move across to Unreal 5 to trial it out and to see how this changes the support of the game more than anything. I don't think the Slipspace engine is bad in terms of fidelity and just the way the game feels and looks. I think Halo Infinite is the best feeling and looking Halo that we've had in such a long time. The campaign is gorgeous, the gameplay is really fluid and nice, and I think it's perfect. If that game was just supported differently, I think it would be the best Halo game of all time. However, the way that the engine is created limits the way 343 can support this game. Again, the people that come in have to unravel this endless amounts of shit and coding and spider webs of all this different code flying around everywhere and try and make sense of what's going on. With Unreal, there's a lot less of that because it's very more universal and more people are able to work on this engine and have experience in working on this engine as well. What are the bad things about moving to Unreal 5 engine? Well, in terms of support and graphical fidelity and things, I wouldn't put that in this bracket. I think that will be the best thing that could happen to Halo moving forward, to have that level of support and to have that visual fidelity that the Unreal 5 engine offers. But some of the things just don't add up to me right now and don't really make sense. The first one is that Microsoft has spent all this budget and money on creating this brand new engine. Are they really just gonna throw it away? And if they do, then fair enough. That means that they're not really too bothered around being sort of like a bank or a business and making money. It means they want to provide a good game and service to us, the gamer. And to do that, they need to sacrifice and essentially just throw in the bin all the money they've spent on this engine. If that's the case, well done Microsoft. That's a really sick decision. And I've got to say, I'm over the moon by that. The second one is Tatanka. As of January this year, Tatanka was in fact being developed on the Slipspace engine. Tatanka was meant to release around January-February time. So my thoughts are, one, why has it been delayed for such a long period of time? And two, if it was being developed on the Slipspace engine back in January, why have we not got it right now, or what's the reason for the delay?
Still don't know how much of a dent COVID's put in a lot of launch plans. I've heard, for example, Tatanka, the gameplay mode, the battle royale light, chaotic sort of Warzone kind of mode that's coming to Halo. We're supposed to have had that already. That was supposed to have launched months ago.
Really?
We've actually supposed to have had the first content update for it by now.
So let's break this down a little bit here. I personally think that the Tatanka mode has been delayed because they're moving it to Unreal 5 engine. I think that we would have had Tatanka already, and Jez Corden even said this on one of his sort of Xbox Insider sort of podcasts that he does as well, that we should have had Tatanka already and the first content update for Tatanka. For me, there's absolutely no reason as to why Tatanka should have been delayed this long. Like, why has it been delayed this long and why have we not heard anything about it when it should have released in January? Surely it couldn't have been in that bad of a state, right? But the problem with this is that Tatanka can't be on Slipspace and then the next Halo be on Unreal 5. I don't think that's going to work. It could work in a sense if Tatanka was just meant to be there for Halo Infinite, and then potentially we have a new mode like Warzone 2 and Warzone, so Warzone 2 being the one with Modern Warfare 2. For example, if we have the next Halo in 2025, we have a new sort of Tatanka mode which has the Unreal 5 engine. That could be where they go with it. I don't really know, to be honest, no one really does, but that could be an explanation. But if Tatanka was going to be a standalone mode like Warzone, and they were just going to have that mode there as a separate thing, it can't just be around on the Slipspace engine with the next Halo being on Unreal 5. It makes no sense. And the investment that's going to be needed by Microsoft to make the Slipspace engine speak and communicate with Unreal 5 is going to be huge. Absolutely astronomical to do that. The idea for Tatanka was to share progression between Halo Infinite and also Tatanka itself. So whatever you had, whatever you did on Halo Infinite, you would also have on Tatanka. To have Unreal 5 and Slipspace speak to each other and give you that exact same progression system, yeah, it's going to take a lot for Microsoft to be able to do that. And I don't know if it's worth doing that. Maybe in this board meeting with all the new heads of 343s and also Microsoft as well to move Halo to the Unreal 5 engine, they thought to themselves, well, why don't we just do the same for Tatanka? It hasn't really been announced yet. We've got nothing really shown for it. There are leaks about it, but there's nothing out there concrete about this mode even existing right now. Why don't we move this also over to Unreal 5 and release them as a package? Or remove it to Unreal 5 and then release as a standalone mode next year that we can support as a live service. That could be an option, but then again, you've got Halo Infinite Forge. That took so long to create, and the detail of Forge, and it's just, I don't think the developers are going to want to do that again and develop that from scratch again. So will Forge remain on Slipspace and be the sort of hub of Forge going forward, or in the next Halo will they create another Forge mode, you know? Like, there's so many questions, so many things I just can't even fathom how they might do it. But if they are moving to Unreal 5, fair play to them. They've got a lot of things that they need to do, which is probably why we haven't heard a lot about the next Halo, or we haven't heard a lot about campaign DLC or the future of Halo Infinite's campaign or story mode. So look, fair enough. Fair play to 343, fair play to Microsoft if this is the case. But that's going to be it for today's video, everyone. I just thought I'd bring this quick one to you around the Unreal 5 engine, how we're potentially moving over to it. Did not expect it, to be honest. I didn't expect it to have any validity to it. I did think it was just a trust me bro sources just putting out rubbish, but maybe not. Maybe this could have some validity to it. And if it does, then I'll be sure to bring this information to you guys straight away. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. As always, everyone, I really appreciate everyone stopping by. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next one.